the whole beginning when you started in the Navy. Why did you join the Navy, or did you not join? Did you get called?
No, I joined the Marines, but they wouldn't take me for the following day, and the Navy would take me immediately, so I went to the Navy. Same physical, so they said, you go today? Yep, they took me today then.
So you were anxious.
I was anxious. I wanted to get out of school.
And what were you thinking about? Why did you join? Why did you want to join?
Well, everybody in World War II has a different mentality. They want to serve their country.
Okay, so then you went down and you joined the Navy. What happened next? Where did you go for basic training?
Sampson, New York, February the 2nd, 44.
Okay, so then where did you went to basic training. What happened next? Where did you ship out from?
Norfolk, Virginia,
And what ship was that?
Ticonderoga.
Where did you join up with the Ticonderoga? Where was that based at the time? Because that was a pretty new ship, right?
Yeah, it was commissioned at that. It was actually commissioned May the 8th in 1944. So it was a new ship.
So when did you get on board? What was your date?
Well, they took us on earlier than that, but that's when we sailed, was May the 8th in 44.
So you were on a brand new ship.
Yep. Yes.
So you went through the Panama Canal, is that right?
Yep. But they had to lift the mounts out because those big ships can't fit through the Panama Canal. They have to take the 5-inch mounts off and the 40 millimeters because they hung over the side. So they had to dismantle them and put them on the hangar deck, and then you go through and you put them back together when you get out of the canal.
So where did you, when you set sail from the Panama Canal, what was the next stop?
San Diego,
San Diego?
and from there to
Did
Bremerton.
you do anything in San Diego?
No, just got different ammunitions, and then you went to Bremerton and
Were you picking up aircraft?
aircraft, correct.
What did you do in Bremerton? That's in Washington.
Well, that was our home port. Whenever we come back to the States, after you'd be gone for 8-9 months, you'd always come back to Bremerton to resupply, and that was our home port, Bremerton, Washington.
So you were on the ship for 8 months at a time?
Oh God, yes, we didn't see land sometime for 8 months.
Wow.
They just give you fuel in stores at sea.
So in Bremerton, how long were you there?
You would just be there possibly 2 weeks, and then you're back out again.
And you set sail
For back out Pacific.
to towards Hawaii?
Hawaii first. You always had to stop at Hawaii.
Did the aircraft carrier go by itself, or was it escorted by other ships?
You'd always be with a couple of destroyers, but you'd always generally, after Hawaii, you'd pick up more of an escort.
Okay, but leaving Bremerton because
You didn't. You could be alone.
you'd be alone.
But that's a question. It was dangerous traveling out there.
Well, not between Hawaii and United States, but from Hawaii on, then you have to pick up more escorts.
Was there any talk of submarines, Japanese submarines, in that area?
No, not really. Not really.
Not until you got to the real war zone.
Yeah.
What was that like when you got to the real war zone? Describe for us a little bit what you were doing on ship day to day.
Day to day, it was just you'd have your duties as a work in a boiler room, and you work with like a water tender be on a second level, watching the water the level in the boilers to make sure it's the proper level. So it wouldn't be too much water or not enough water, or else you would if you need it down below, you wood burners. You have to keep a certain pressure, like 600 pounds pressure on those, and you can't deviate from that. So you'd have to cut off burners, put burners in, depending on the speed of the ship, how much steam they would need to work the propulsion.
That's a lot of responsibility for a 17-year-old.
No, it was mostly it was when you had to transfer the oil into different tanks, and you'd done that 3 or 4 levels above, and you had to know just by memory, what tanks, what valves to hydraulically open and close valves to pump them into your service tanks at the boilers.
Do you remember what your rank was at that time?
Water tender second.
Water tender second. So was a water tender one?
Pardon?
Was it one below you, rank below you?
Oh yeah, third class, then fireman, and then you started off with second class, first class seaman, water tender third, water tender second.
When you were on the ship, we read about a typhoon where there was real bad weather at some point. Were you on the ship then?
We were on the ship there. That was when the Japanese were on Luzon, and after the war we found this. I read this where they couldn't even register those wind velocities. They were so strong. 3 destroyers alongside of us turned upside down from a carrier 65 foot high for the flight deck. I was on the flight deck looking up. We'd go in a swell, I'd see water up there and water up there going through it. The Washington was on our, just by it. The only thing when the Washington, New Jersey battle wagons would hit those waves, all you see was not the mounts, the 2 tiers of mounts, 16 inches. The water would be over both of those mounts, and all you see was a stack. That's all in this typhoon.
Did the Navy have any indication that there was going to be stormy weather?
No, because the Japanese wouldn't tell us. There's a joke.
That's a good one.
We're all like, no kidding.
And Halsey, they wanted the court-martial Halsey because of that storm, because we couldn't get out of it. And then we were 2 days in that damn storm, darn storm.
Where were you
Me?
during the storm?
Oh, mostly down, all over, up and down.
I imagine a few sailors got sick.
Oh yeah, it was just too, it was so violent you didn't worry about getting sick.
Did they have to call off meals and things like that?
Oh, you couldn't eat, because if you ate, the table would be sliding across. You didn't do that.
How long did it last?
2 days. Oh, it lasted a long time, but we were in it 2 days, 15th and 16th of December.
What do you first remember? What was it, like a day like any day when the day started?
Nothing. It was like it was exactly 12:05, January the 21st, 1945. I had just stepped down from the hangar deck when the first plane came through the flight deck, hangar deck. And what happened, why everybody got killed on the hangar deck, is because all the shutters were down. So you got killed by concussion too, because the shutters were down. So you just step down here, you step down there, and every time you open up, there's a ball of fire, gasoline, and you got to work yourself down to you have general quarters, and mine was down below on the 7th deck in a pumping room, and that's where I had to go. But that was that situation.
So what was the first thing you heard or saw?
Fire. But you just, you had I remember you opening up like these, you have hatches, you open them up and just fire, so you shut those. And then when you go down, and you went down through like the magazines, like the 5th and 6th deck, then they have to flood them because of the fire. So as you're going in, they flood the decks, then flood you in. So they flood you, you're flooded in.
Were you by yourself?
Yep.
Wow.
Did people know what was going on the ship? Did people know? Were they saying there's been
I had no contact with anyone. No one. On the phones, though, remember, I was, to be funny, they said there was like, we're in between Formosa and Luzon. And that's it, there was, naturally, the fleet left us because we're smoking and drawing too much attention. So I remembered that there was 250 bombers coming from Luzon. And I said to myself, oh shit, That's all I said. That was it.
So you hold out somewhere, you, like how many decks below? Did you
I was on the 7th deck,
7th deck?
and naturally you're flooded in, you can't get out.
Right.
And you wait 3 days, and they pump
But you
the
did get
water
some
out.
sort of communication with someone?
Yeah, I'm of communications.
Okay. So they knew you were down there?
Yep.
But there's nothing they could have done?
But they told me when the water was pumped out, so.
Okay, so they just told you to hang on?
Strange that they even found I was even there.
So you saw flames. You didn't know a plane had crashed on the deck, right?
Oh yes, you knew that. But the point is, you had nowhere to go with so much gasoline and burning. No one could realize how much
Did you smell
fire there is with gasoline.
it? Did you smell the fumes and everything?
I don't remember smelling it. I just remember I had to keep shutting the doors because of the flames.
Yeah.
I guess you don't think of smelling.
So when you got on top, what was it like up there with all the devastation?
It was like the hangar deck's is like a burnt out barn, and
How about the aircraft that you had?
oh, there was very few aircraft because the planes that had taken off for near the combat area, they couldn't land. So the planes that were there were pushed over the side because they were burning. So there's very few aircraft aboard that ship.
Well, the ones that were in here, did they have to scuttle them in the water?
Oh yes, they had to tip them when they were burning. They'd be listing. They'd push them off the side.
Now, was the ship disabled then, unready for combat?
It was-
What did it have to do? What did you?
No, the boiler rooms were never touched, so we always had good steam.
Shed the power.
Yep, good power.
So where did it head after this? Where did you continue?
We had to go back to Pearl Harbor.
Back to
Pearl Harbor, and then we had to go back to Bremerton to get repaired.
And I guess from historical perspective, what was actually happening on that ship above? What do you know that was happening? Because I guess one plane came in or two, or
No.
can you give us
Well,
a
first of all, one plane comes in, it's a hangar deck, like I said, in blue. Then a second plane come into the island, and naturally you kill a lot of officers because that's where they're at. And you have a 5-inch mount that it hits in there and it turns upside down. But I was lucky because 2 weeks prior to that, I was assigned to, on that same spot, to give plane identification. Then they put me down below at the pumps. So I was lucky that they put me with the pumps.
And so the first plane came in and hit.
Through the hangar deck and into the flight deck. And from the flight deck, through the flight deck, into the hangar deck. And that's when it blew. Then the second Kamikaze came in and came into the island and hit that naturally and destroyed the island. That's where the captain was.
What is an island?
That's the island, that's the superstructure on a carrier, the part that sticks up, that has your 2 tiers of 5-inch guns, and then the command center. That's the island.
Is that the bridge? Is the bridge?
That's the bridge, that's the bridge. Correct.
So, 1 and 2 hit. What else is happening in the sky over the ship?
A lot of planes in action, just normal, everyday chaos.
Did any of the Kamikazes hit any of their escort ships?
I honestly don't know. I have no idea.
And so how long were you down below, basically fighting?
Oh, no, we were just, you were flooded in a couple of days.
Did you have food or anything?
No, it was hard to sleep at the grates.
No water either, I take it.
No.
Well, anyway, the ship then headed for Bremerton. And how long did it take to get there?
I'd say we were there about 3 weeks to get repaired. So we had liberty then to go home.
Did you go home?
Yep. But they repaired the ship.
What happened when you came home? I guess everybody here couldn't
No.
believe it.
Not really. I walked. I don't think nobody picked me up in Buffalo. I think I walked 7-8 miles by myself to home. There's no bus service or anything, so you walk home. Fred knows how it is. Not too emotional. You get home and that's it.
Was your family in Orchard Park?
Yes.
And you walked
Orchard
all
Park.
the way to Orchard Park?
Pardon?
You walked to Orchard Park?
Yeah, I walked to Orchard Park. That's what.
Where?
From Buffalo.
That's more than 7 or 8 miles.
Is it? Well,
Yeah, that's definitely.
I didn't know, but there's no bus services at night. I walked
Did
it.
your family know you were coming?
I don't know.
You don't remember her?
I don't.
No,
I really don't remember.
When you came home, what lessons did you bring home from that? You were a young man. What do you think you brought home with you that stayed with you?
Nothing, but people didn't think of anything because I know we came back when we lost all those lives. And the only that showed up at Pearl Harbor was not one person, but the band played.
that was it?
That's
One
it.
band?
Nobody showed up.
Oh, that's terrible.
How about in Bremerton?
Pardon?
How about when you went to Bremerton? Was the reception any better?
Same thing.
Same thing?
No one gave two thoughts about anyone coming home. As Fred would know, they just shook your hand, see it. And so nobody gave it too much of a thought.
You have a picture of a box.
Oh, a box. I was trying to be, that box. After the war, the fire room is empty and there's no life. So if somebody coming down I was going to scare them. So I went in this, it's only like a 3 foot by 3 foot high in this metal box. So I was going to scare them. So I got all curled up. I was only 135 pounds, so I was very small. So I got in, I held my breath, and this metal lid come down, and the latch come down, and it locked. I couldn't get out, and I couldn't breathe. So I did have enough air to suck in some more air, to reach down and make a little leeway and took my key. I had a key on a keychain, and I pushed that latch out. And otherwise, it'd be horseplay is not good. You would be suffocated. So, no horseplay for me. That's why I was with Sandy. No horseplay. No horseplay.
Did the guy
Dangerous.
ever come down to scare? Did you want to scare?
No, I never seen anyone. I was just glad he got the box. I scared myself.
How much leave did you get when you come back from Bremerton?
30 days. You always
30
get 30 days.
And you went back to Orchard Park?
Yep.
Yeah. And then
Yep.
where did you have to go after your leave?
Back to Bremerton.
You were still with the Ticonderoga?
Oh, yes. But I was on, I think, about 7 different ships to deactivate after the war. The Lexington, the Bunker Hill, the Boston, the cruiser Boston, the Baltimore. There was about 5 of them that we had to take apart.
So Bremerton was a big port for decommissioning?
But the cruisers you couldn't put, the cruisers were at Everett. The Baltimore and the Boston were side by side.
Close by, though, right?
Pardon?
Everett was close by?
Everett was close by, yes, just north of, that's when I met Evelyn.
Well, let's hear about that.
Oh, boy.
How did
We're going to go there? Oh, my God.
How did you meet?
You want the truth? Okay. I'll tell you what happened.
Don't lie.
This Bob, I lie. I got these facts down like that. McDermott, we were aboard ship today. We had to work together. So he said, why don't you come home and you'll meet my sister-in-law? I said, okay. So I go home there, and unbeknownst to me, she has a a soldier named Al. That's her date, and he's bringing me home. So that was, I don't know what you thought, but I think I better not get too involved. But I think I should have left right there. What happened after that?
What happened to Al?
Well, we stayed together.
No, what happened to Al?
He went bye-bye.
Okay, what did I know?
You were a keeper.
Oh, yeah, sure. Now I'm a keeper. It's too late.
You were there for 30 days on leave when you met Mom.
Yep. Then I had to go home, and I cut my leave short to go back to Everett, and I think I should have stayed longer in Orchard Park.
It's, it's okay to say that now.
I kind of missed the boat, I think, there.
No, wait a minute. You had 30 days with Uncle Bob.
No, I had 30 days leave to go home when I was still dating Evelyn.
Okay.
That's your name, right?
That's right, John.
Okay. And so I had a month, and so I think I come back in about 2 weeks.
He
And
couldn't wait.
yeah, well,
So you went to Orchard Park, then back.
right to Everett.
He wrote to
That's
me,
where the
I miss you and all this.
And did she tell you her right age?
Oh, I had to.
I should have had the whole family put in jail. They said she was 18.
Because I said,
They lied.
my mother had us over for dinner and she sang, when you were sweet, 16. And I kicked her, just nudged her and I said, oh, because at that time he didn't know how old I was, but then I had to tell him how old I was.
What were you doing? Were you working or going to school?
I was working.
She was working.
I was working everywhere.
Where did you work?
Oh, at a department store, at,
Didn't you run an elevator?
yes.
No,
Oh, yes,
that was
I
in
did.
Cincinnati.
Oh, yes. Oh, geez. Was? I thought it was in California. Okay. But I did whatever I could.
The florist. When I met you, you
worked
worked the
as a
florist.
florist. In fact, that's when our wedding, we had the wedding there, and they didn't charge us for the wedding, and we had all the flowers, beautiful flowers, and they did that for nothing. So then we went back to New York to live with somewhere.
Oh, one little tidbit. Our rent, we had a back room of a farmhouse. The rent was $18.75 a month.
Did you have indoor plumbing?
Oh, yes. That was a very small bathroom, too.
Yeah. Yes. I
Real
don't know
small.
How we did it.
I don't know.
This August you're going to be married how many years?
63.
63.
I've seen the cookbooks from the brides after the war, and there's not a lot of meat.
Oh, God, no.
Burner stoves, because nobody had anything.
No, you know how Sandy knows. This was afterwards, when we were, with the children, our big thing was, like I said, we have Spam with cloves in it to dress it up.
And pineapple.
And, pineapple, that was another day, though.
That was a ham.
No,
Easter dinner.
not the cloves and the ham together. That was a separate meal.
Spam. What kind of meat is spam?
It's a combination of pork and, I think it was just pork and junk. There's a lot of white stuff in there. It's called fat.
Yes.
Tell me about your wedding dress and getting the wedding together, because people in those days, it wasn't a bridal shop and all this
Yeah.
craziness. How'd you get the wedding? What'd you do?
I got a long dress and a regular wedding dress. I don't know how I got it.
Did Aunt Glenn help you? Probably. Aunt
She
Glenn
probably
helped you.
did, but, I had the bouquet of flowers and the hair,
The veil.
and it was a very, very nice wedding.
And he had his uniform on?
He had his sailor suit on, yes.
Sailor suit.
And he was handsome.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes,
And Aunt Glenn
Yes.
stood up with you.
yes.
Did you have someone else, Elsa?
I had to set up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, a sailor named Woodworth.
Oh, yes.
Did you like him?
Oh, yes.
Or was Uncle Bob McDermott?
No, he wasn't in the picture.
In the picture, huh?
No.
He probably was, he wasn't even there.
I think we were in New York
For what?
When you got married?
when we got married. No, we got married
Careful now.
in San Francisco.
No, Everett, Washington.
Well,
It was close.
That's
It was that
close.
See, this is like trivia. But tell her where we stayed at for our honeymoon.
I don't know.
To be very, we never discussed this before, but the homes were kind of close, like little one-room things, boom, boom, boom. So we stayed in that one-room thing while her parents stayed next door somewhere else. So that was our honeymoon one day.
And then we came back to New York, didn't
Yep.
we?
Yep. Okay, Charlie, keep it going.